So now let's look into the file system of the Linux. When you log into the system and reach the shell command prompt, you are usually placed in your home directory often. So you want to explore other areas in the Linux system besides just your home directory. This section describes how to do that using shell commands. To start, you need to take a tour of just what the Linux file system looks like so you know where you're going. Uh, so as we are almost almost most of the time we used Windows, so it's difficult to understand the Linux file system. The first difference you will notice is that Linux does not use drive letters in the path names. In the Windows world, the physical drives installed on the computer determine the path name of the file. Example, you can see it on top. So let me. Yeah, here it is. D drive. In that I have Imlike. In that I have YouTube. In that I have iDevOps for you course. In that, in this folder, in this rep, all this stuff is there. So that's how the path of the Windows system is made up or made of. So so basically Windows assigns a letter to each physical disk drive, and each drive contains its own directory structure for accessing files stored on it. And the Windows file path tells you exactly which physical disk partition contains the file named test.doc. Just for an example, I'm taking that. So, for example, if you have saved test.doc on a flash drive designated by the J drive, the file path would be j colon backward slash test.doc. So this path indicates that the file is located on the root of the drive assigned in the letter J. So let's go into that system and we'll see how it works. Okay. Mm, example. So here I am. So let's go into this. So this is D, and see I have only two. So now if you go to the see anyone, I'll go to the MLAC, and this is my YouTube, and here I have a Python course, and in this I have notes, some of the notes I have written. So if you just copy this, if you see D MLAC YouTube IPython for you and notes, uh this is how it directs you to the physical drive where your files are located. This is the file system of Windows. Whereas whereas Linux completely different. This is not the method used by Linux stores files within a single directory structure called a virtual directory. The virtual directory contains file paths from all the storage devices installed on the computer merged into a single directory structure. The Linux virtual directory structure contains a single base directory called root. Directories and files beneath the root directory are listed based on the directory path used to get to them. So similar to the way Windows does it. This indicates that the file test.doc, an example, test.doc with the doc extension, is the directory documents under the directory rich, which is contained in the directory home. Notice that the path does not provide any information as to which physical disk the file is stored on. This is the fundamental and huge difference between a Windows and a Linux file system. The tricky part, you can see that clearly on the screen. /home is the, in that you have a username, documents, and then test doc. So this is the difference between a Windows and a Linux. So the tricky part about the Linux virtual directory is how it incorporates each storage device. The first hard drive installed in a Linux system is called root drive. The root drive contains the virtual directory core. Everything else builds from there. On the root drive, Linux can use special directories as mount points. Mount points are directories in the virtual directory where you can assign additional storage devices. Linux causes files and directories to appear within these mount point directories even though they are physically stored on a different drive. Shows two hard drives on the computer. For example, one hard drive is associated with the root of the virtual directory indicated by a single forward slash, only single forward slash. All those things I will demonstrate to you in a few minutes, so you don't need to worry about all those things, but just follow me. uh, Other hard drives can be mounted anywhere in the virtual directory structure. In this example, the second hard drive mounted at the location forward slash home, which is where the user directories are located. So you can see this example. The disk 1 is the root directory or root drive, and disk 2 is also another drive we have. Though, so bin etc mount user var. So all these root directories or all these directories are attached to the root drive physically and actually in actual scenario. And some Charan, Surya, Shiva, Krishna, these are all some users, they are attached to the disk 2 physically and actually. Though it won't be, whatever data that you store in Surya's folder will be stored physically in disk 2, and whatever you store it in var will be stored in disk 1. However, for the representation in the Linux system, it doesn't consider the names or of the actual disks. It will just show as a common pattern, that is forward slash bin or forward slash home then forward slash Surya. That's like it shows, it considers it as a virtual directory or virtual home where everything is placed. That's it. Okay, so then we will move on to the each and every directory that present inside our Linux system. Okay, so the Linux file system structure originally evolved from the Unix file structure. So it goes like this. It consists of a forward slash. If it consists of only forward slash, it's called a root of the virtual directory. So where normally no files are placed. So this is how total these are common irrespective of what type of distribution it's using. All these directories will be present inside the inside your Linux system. So it's the fundamental one is virtual directory, the root of the virtual directory, that is forward slash. Then we have forward slash bin, the binary directory, then boot, the boot directory, then dev, device directory, then etc, it is system configuration files directory, then forward slash home, this is home directory, and then lib, library directory, and media directory, mount directory, optional directory, process directory, root home directory, has been system binary directory, where and r, and then run directory, srv, sys, service directory and system directory, TMP, temporary directory, USR, user bin directory, var, variable directory. The last five one are very important for the deployment purpose. But let's see. Let's I think go into the Ubuntu or whichever it may be. Yeah, and log into the Ubuntu, and let's explore each and every directory. Let me clear it up everything. So let me zoom out a few inches. Yes, that's right. We got up. We have all set. Now let's jump and look into the each and every directory. So here if you see, uh, you can see the tilde symbol is present. What does that mean? Just the previous slides I have explained about this. The tilde symbol it means it's the user is the user, the directory, the existing directory, the present directory is the home directory of the user. That's what it says, the tilde symbol. Let's see what is that. PWD. Of course, home Ubuntu is the home directory for the Ubuntu user. So that's the reason. So now we'll begin with the root of virtual directory. So for that, what I will do is I will give cd the change, sorry, cd small and then forward slash. It will take me to the root of the virtual directory. So let me check it. That's it. A magic. So all the directories are present in root of virtual directory. So this is the highest level of directory above which there is no other directory present. That's what I'm saying. So irrespective of how many disks, physical disks you have attached, all will be, maybe few directories will be connected to different disks. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, all the disks memory will be considered as a virtual directory. That's the root of the virtual directory, and all our directories will be present in this root of the virtual directory. See, all bin home, opt, sbin, tmp, boot, lib, everything is there, everything in that. So first, so that's what our root of virtual directory, where normally no files are placed, but all the directories will be present in this root of the virtual directory, that is with the, that is represented with a single forward slash. Then we will look into bin. So cd and then bin. So let's see what is there in it. So there is huge amount of stuff in cd bin. So bin, the binary directory where many GNU user level utilities are stored. You can clearly find out gmore, ggrip, gforce, xjedcat, and then s, let me scroll up a bit. Who am I, who, which, where, wc, these are all commands that linux commands that we use. Vim, you see vim, this is a text, it is a file writer, or and so all the commands, most of the commands, GNU utilities, these are all fundamentally a low level language files na. So that's the reason all these files will be stored in the C time example. I'll just type time here. See, you got the time. So this is a utility. It's so all these utilities, all the commands that we use in Linux will be normally user level, basically user level utilities or user level utilities. There will be sbin, that is that's a different one, but this is user level. Even for the normal level, this can be used by the whatever commands that can be used by the normal users also, like ubuntu, cheren. So those will be placed in this those will be placed in this um, bin binary directory. Then we have boot. So let's get into the boot. Cd boot. Let's see what all there. So in boot, it's a boot directory where boot files are stored. So you can find out some of the boot files here. So um, what are, whichever the files that are VM Linux and all those things. VM Linux, grub example. Grub is the one which is very much useful. Let's get into the grub and see. See here you have fonts and everything, which helps in basically for booting. So the booting files, all the booting files are present in this boot directory. Then we will look into the dev directory. Let's get into the dev directory and see. Dev directory or device directory, where Linux creates device nodes. So let us check what are device nodes. See, terminals, TTY1, TTY4, PPP, PTMX, PTS, random, all the most important stuff is present. This is terminals. And then we will look into home. This is widely used, so it's better. So home directory, where Linux create user directory. Whatever users that you create in this Ubuntu system, all the users will be present, will be put in home directory. So for example, Ubuntu is the one normal user, he is not the root user, he is the normal user. So that's the reason his directory, his home directory will be placed in home Ubuntu directory. So you can see that that's the Ubuntu. Okay, then we will go to the lib. So lib is a library directory where system and application library files are stored. So you can basically see sudo is very important. It's a sudoers and Python, OS, ManDB. So lot of files, GNUPG, lot of files are stored. Libraries, basically it's a library files. Then we'll go to the media. So media directory is a common place for mount points used for the removable media. So at this moment it's completely empty because you can use it as a mount point to connect with the removable disk or removable media or pen drive. So at this moment we haven't connected anything, it's empty. So then we'll go for the mount point. Let's see what is mount directory. So at this moment it's completely empty. So mount directory is similar to that. Another common place for mount points used for removable media. Then we will jump into the proc. Then we'll jump into the proc. So proc is again a process directory where current hardware and process information is stored. Let's see some of the one example we'll take is uptime. When you type uptime, so you're getting the time and the up and how many users and load average. It's giving complete details about the PC for how long it's been up and everything. So that's what the uptime. And similarly you can give stat. Okay, stat. Mm, it's not working. Okay, then sys. So this is how you can sorry, version. I would like to check version. Even version is also not working. That's fine. So this is how it gives a live information about your system. Then we will enter into the most important one, the root directory. Okay, the permission is denied to directly enter. Let's become a root user, sudo, and then we will enter into the root directory. So now we are in the root directory. Let's check pwd. Okay, it's a forward slash root. This is a root user home directory. Normally we don't place any files in this directory. It's a root user home directory. Then let's look into the sbin. Sbin also has a lot of files. So sbin is system binary directory where many GNU admin level utilities are stored. Admin level utilities are stored. For example, this can't be used directly by example sudo, va sudo. Va sudo consists of a user names who can use the you who can become a sudo, or who can take the permissions as who can take permissions and who can uh, act as as a root user. So many utilities cannot be used by a normal user, so all those users will be placed in as bin. So all those utilities will be placed in as bin. Example, a reboot is one. And then we will look into the run. So again, run a run directory where runtime data is held during system operation. So this is a run directory. So example, log. This is widely used. So the log information and all the information will get it from here. And user. Okay, so that's what. So it will give you runtime data regarding runtime data that's held during the system operation. So now we will look into the SRV, the server SRV, the service directory. Service directory where local services store their files. Basically, uh, this is widely used for the deployment. Anyway, we will be doing deployment in our future sessions, so we will do it there. Okay, and then we have sys. This is a system directory. system directory where system hardware information files are stored. You can see kernel, system hardware, kernel, hypervisor, firmware, bus, devices, dev, all those things are related to system hardware. That information will be stored in sys. So don't meddle with this directory at any cost, at any cost. Then we have tmp. TMP is a temporary directory where temporary work files can be created and destroyed. So basically, if you want to do some experiments, we'll do it in temp only. So that's what we're going to do in future sessions also. Okay. Then what we have is user. This is our user binary directory where the bulk of GNU user level utilities and data files are stored. Even basically the installations that we do, the different services Apache to install, or Jenkins, or Java, or Maven, when you install all these services, most of the binary files will take up this user and then bin user lib basically, and then user, they go to the lib and here it will be stored. So in this place you can find even system empty. This also has been stored here only. So this is also widely useful for the deployment again. So that's why I have told you before, I placed them in such a way that the 5 directories that we widely use for the deployment in a separate section. Then final one is var. So again var. So var is a variable directory for files that change frequently, such as log files. So let's get into the log files and we'll see. Okay, so here you have a log file and complete information about the logs. And var is also a one more directory which can be used, which we use in deployment also. So now when you log into your server, when you log into your system and reach a shell, when you log into your system and reach a shell CLI prompt, your session starts in your home directory. Your home directory is unique directory assigned to your user account. When a user account is created, the system normally assigns a unique directory for the account. You can move around the virtual directory using, so here that's what happened when I logged in. Or if you just want to test it again, we'll go to this another this is basically CentOS. Let's do it. Okay, it's CentOS. See, you should directly enter into your, yes, that's it. Where are you now? You are in, you should be in your CentOS. Is a normal user in his home directory. Yes, it is home and then CentOS. This is the home directory of the CentOS. So even the same thing happened here also. That's the purpose. That's how you can move around the virtual directory using a graphical interface. However, to move around the virtual directory from a CLI prompt, you need to learn to use the cd command. So that's what we are going to do next.